You are listening to the Push Media Podcast Network.
This is good shit.
I get nostalgic this time of year. Well, actually, I get nostalgic all the time. I get nostalgic when I hear Ying-Yang twin songs for no reason. Not that I relate to that at all. They were popping when I was like 7. I wasn't walking around whispering about my little dick. Because by now, I've been yelling about my huge one. By the way, just quickly, Bonafide Canton Not Certified Pro skeet so much they call up Billy Ocean like Short said, let Bruce hit it. Those are some of the quotes of the Ying-Yang twins that if I hear them, I get nostalgic. And I also get nostalgic like everyone else does at normal things, like seeing Christmas up at stores. It's that time of year with Thanksgiving here upon us when everyone gathers around the table to watch the World Cup played in the Middle East debate the issue of gay rights through the uniform choices. It's that time of year when everyone gathers around the table. And if you thought last year had a lot of crypto talk, boy, oh boy, wait till everyone gathers and your stupid uncle, like the younger uncle who has like a chin strap still, wants to talk to you about crypto. How about you back him into a corner this year and say, hey, bud, how's your Bitcoin? How's your shitcoin? How's your Doge? Pussy? Is your Doge doing well? Tweet about it. Oh, wait, no, you can't. Take it to Mastodon, despite the name of that company sounding like a shark, and I assume their business pitch to current investors being, hey, we're Twitter, that doesn't let you say the N-word, we think. You have that to talk about, nostalgic, around the table. It's the most wonderful time of the year, which is naturally why I am on high alert for foreign and domestic threats. First being the World Cup. Am I the only one who thinks that this is a subtle infiltration, a cunning bit of military deception to have the World Cup shoehorned or ham-fisted, whatever term your mother prefers, into the tradition of Thanksgiving? I don't think it's right. I think some foul play is afoot. And I think someone should say something. I think a Trojan horse is here. And it's not like anyone really still gives a shit about soccer, but I think it's not right. I think we got to say something. Because first, it starts with golf. Saudi Arabia gets involved with golf, and then journalists are in bite-sized pieces. It starts next with the World Cup. It is a firm belief I have. I think it should not have been moved to the time it is, and I hope the next one doesn't happen near Thanksgiving. Because football should be on in the background. And regardless of how you feel about football, sure, some of the side effects of playing the sport, involve guys donating their brain to science while still alive. But it is a beautiful thing to have on in the background during Thanksgiving. It's needed. It provides a constant bit and available reprieve from the crazy nonsense being discussed at your Thanksgiving table, which undoubtedly each year divides everyone there even more. Something that was always available was a football game that you could just check in on and pretend to give a shit about. You can't do that with soccer. Does anyone give a fuck about Belgium? No. Does anyone give a fuck about Qatar? I don't give a fuck about Qatar. Can I say that? I don't mean to be rude, but motherfuck Qatar. Now, granted, there are some fun things coming out of the World Cup, like take Saudi Arabia, for example. A wonderful country where Joe Biden agreed to grant amnesty to the prince there, from any type of prosecution from a journalist getting cut up into tiny little bite-sized pieces and put in a bag. Now, take that off the table. Take off the table any involvement potentially in 9/11, and let me tell you a story about Saudi Arabia and the World Cup that'll really make you smile. Now, Saudi Arabia beat Argentina, which is a good team at soccer. I think it makes sense. Those people, when I picture Argentinians in my head, which are just Spanish Parisians, I think are probably good at soccer. That's the extent of my knowledge about the sport. Yellow card, or whatever the fuck they talk about. They were beaten by the Saudi Arabian soccer team. Now, that was such an unprecedented event, at least to the Saudi Arabians, who were like, holy shit, we just did what? that the Prince of Saudi Arabia declared a national holiday in the country. He said, wow, this is such a momentous occasion. I am so happy at the result of a game that is being played in Qatar, which we're still a little jealous about, by the way. I mean, why not Saudi Arabia? We can get amnesty, but we can't host the World Cup. Nonetheless, we won Argentina. Holy shit, national holiday. That's kind of funny. That you got to admit, that's amusing. It's wild to have, it's just funny to have the amount of power to be so happy at the result of a game that you declare a national holiday. Just think about that. That's like Macaulay Culkin as a child in movies level rich. That's funny. It's so funny it should make you forget that people were cut up into tiny bite-sized consumable pieces and taken out in bags. Because they wrote articles that were unfavorable for the crown or the glowing orb. Whatever controls and gives the person in power the Excalibur right to control with Sharia law over the land and people. Now, the World Cup is stupid, but it is still something that should not happen during Thanksgiving. I just feel like it is an infiltration of the American institution of football and Thanksgiving. Or not. I actually don't think that at all. But it was amusing, right? I'm just saying, you got to be on the lookout for subtle infiltrations. Like, take, for example, I was infiltrated probably by the Chinese, the Chi-Coms. They infiltrated my immune system and got me sick. That would be my guess, and it's probably why my voice still sounds a little bit like James Blunt, who was, of course, an admiral in the British Navy and a guy who was a pop singer in the early 2000s. Both of those facts are true. Look that up. That's true. I'm telling you, it's true. Maybe the Air Force. I don't know. Some of it might be. That's the point of the show. Some of it might be. Don't listen to me. Listen to other people who are lying to you and get your money took, you idiot, like anyone who unfortunately had money in FTX. Now, FTX was a wildly popular crypto platform that had the endorsement of Tom Brady, someone who makes great choices as of late. Larry David, Kim Kardashian, a lot of commercials during the Super Bowl. It was a big deal. And it was the company that was CEO'd by a little dumb wop named Charlie Gasparino. And I mean truly and literally, if there was ever a name of a guy who sounds like he would accept money to operate without integrity, perhaps to put it that way, it would be the boy Charlie Gasparino from down the block on the corner over there, from the corner known for all the people who do crime willingly. Charlie Gasparino, from the Gasparino family, the Gasparino crime family. The name and everything about it sounds criminal. Am I wrong? Like I've said before, names matter. Now, Charlie Gasparino, CEO of FTX, the company which had a lot of people's money, like $2 billion of money in various cryptos on the platform. Now, the platform went under, and that money's gone. Now, that's big news, and I'll talk more about that in a second. But for a moment, I want to give you another concurrent bit of news that happened kind of around the same time. Several central banks of 7 states, or 11 states, something like that, all proposed their own version of a crypto coin, of a digital dollar, proposed by central banks. That just happened. That was just like, hey, we're testing out this idea. Now, forget about Charlie Gasparino of the Gasparino crime family and Jew Fro in the Bahamas of crime and money laundering. Forget about him for a second. The U.S. central banks, 11 of them, have proposed digital dollars very recently. Now back to FTX and the crypto platform. Now, FTX, the crypto platform, which had regular people, everyday folks, had about $2 billion of their money on the platform. The platform goes under, money gone. All these people, average day folks, not the, Wall Street guys, not major players, everyone just trying to make some money off of crypto or use it every now and then for a transaction. Regular people are just shit out of luck. Now, that's awful, right? But if you do a little digging, if you do a little extra work, a little extra leg work, you would come across a name. You would come across a name familiar to all crazy people like myself who wear tinfoil hats, both to sleep and in the shower, you would come across a name like Klaus Schwab, evil James Bond level bad guy, man in charge of the World Economic Health Forum, the same company that has an available PDF. I quote that available PDF. Do you remember not long ago the plan that came out called "You Will Own Nothing and Be Happy"? It was like a projection for, I think, 2050, what they expect like society and civilization to be like for everyday people, for everyday folks who would use platforms like FTX, regular people. We predict by then, us as the World Economic Health Forum, this is just our prediction, even though the World Economic Health Forum is comprised of people who represent all industries and all economic, situations across the globe, our prediction is you will own nothing, but you'll be happy, you'll rent. People won't really need cash. You will have less access to less traceable money. Everything will be digital, tracked, available, and you'll basically just need less because the government will provide more. There will be an upheaval to the current way of exchanging you as a person with the economy of money around you. This is just our prediction. So the World Economic Health Forum, the group founded by Klaus Schwab, who's not Charles Schwab, who's not Brendan Schaub, who's not a rock-trying stand-up. World Economic Health Forum, people who put out the "You'll Own Nothing and Be Happy" plan, have been frantically scrubbing the internet from having any association with FTX, the failed crypto platform that lost everyday folks $2 billion. Now, you say that, and with each passing day, you sound crazier and crazier, but it's true. And thank God to the Internet Archives that it is really there. You can see it on the website that they supported and had financial dealings and backings with FTX, the crypto platform that Charlie Gasparino oversaw the fucking of average people lose a lot of money. Turns out, Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Health Forum had backings to FTX that just lost everyone money. Now, pause on that. Back to the other concurrent bit of news that happened recently. Several central banks proposed their version of a digital dollar. Not crypto, not on the blockchain. This is separate from that. We understand technology is changing and the convenience of mobile technology is something people want to spend money. Us as central banks who have the money that actually means nothing but controls everything because we're trying out our version of it. Think about that news for a second. The guy in charge of the World Economic Health Forum frantically scrubbing any connection to the susceptible dumb fuck of the dumb fuck family of crime. I'm not great at naming families. Scrubbing any association, but it existed nonetheless. And everyday folks who were trying to make a few bucks are out $2 billion. But you can try out our new digital dollar at the regular banks with the regular money that doesn't really mean anything but lets us control you. It's not the crypto that is based on something that the banks have nothing to do with. This still uses our fake money. Only now it looks a little more real, but it's still not. I don't mean to be crazy, but maybe there's some dots to connect. Like, for example, the G20 summit happening right now. Now, the G20 summit is another group of various leaders of different industries from around the globe. It just has a different name than the World Economic Health Forum, so I guess it's better marketing. It sounds less evil. But they have met and proposed the idea of a digital health passport to, prove vaccination, only digitally. Now, that's not a good idea or a bad idea. It's just an idea. You hear that, YouTube? Shadow ban that. But the point is, aside from the concept of whether you think a digital passport is a good idea, a digital vaccine card, what I'm just curious about is like, hey, why did this just get proposed now? I mean, shit, we're 3 years into COVID. No one's really worried about it anymore. I don't even think you get tested to go on Joe Rogan anymore. It's kind of over. So the leaders, you mean to tell me the leaders of various industries from around the globe, the smartest people available, have met at the G20 summit, and someone just now proposes, hey, maybe a digital vaccine card. Now, whether the idea is good or bad, whether it wants to track you and take over the world, whether you think vaccines are real or not, whether you think you're getting shot up with little robots that will track you, whether you're actually that retarded, you simpleton, you're already being tracked. Why don't you go to a pet store and drink the next vaccine? My point is, aside from how you feel about the vaccine, none of those are true. I am in support of it. Take that, YouTube. How are the leaders just now getting around to the idea of maybe having a digital vaccine card? That seems unlikely to me, which leads me to connect some dots as a crazy person who should not be taken seriously, who has the best up-to-date information. One of two things has to be true. Either there is a new forthcoming strain that was so terrible that they are reacting to it, and we just haven't let the cat out of the bag, so we should tell everyone in a subtle way to get a digital health vaccine card or whatever. Probably not the case, I hope. I just don't think it is. Or they are proposing the idea 3 years after they should have, the smartest people and leaders of industry from around the globe, that is. Maybe the motivation behind the proposal for that isn't as altruistic as you would hope. Maybe it isn't so much about COVID status and vaccination status. It's maybe about just tracking you. Not to connect dots. Maybe a crypto platform backed by the evil Bond villain bad guy of money who is frantically scrubbing any association his company had with the crypto platform headed by Charlie Gasparino, who lost average people, regular folks, $2 billion with commercials with Matt Damon and Tom Brady in a Super Bowl. Maybe I'm just connecting the dots. Who knows? Maybe I'm off. But don't forget, 11 central banks proposed their own version of a digital dollar recently. But again, maybe I'm just connecting dots. Don't take me seriously. I'm a clown. Maybe I would be wrong to connect the dot of everyone real happy with the latest announcement that Biden is extending the pause of federal student loan repayment now until June. That's great news. Everyone just saw that going into Thanksgiving, like, oh my God, this is great news. But would I be wrong in connecting the dot that you remember the forgiveness that was announced? That was shot down by a judge and deemed unconstitutional and not happening anymore. Maybe the news of him extending this till June is him failing at something he promised and getting kicked down the road so far away, about 6 months that is, that he's probably gonna be dead. But again, could be wrong. I might be connecting dots. But I connect dots. That's what I do. That's what the brain does. You connect patterns. And a great cause of concern for me is that I feel like not only are people not connecting dots where they should, they are so doing it the wrong way and searching for the wrong investigations. Like, for example, billions of dollars missing at a company that was mysteriously headed by a known evil bad guy of money. Your student loan that we promised a forgiveness on, that got shot down. That's unconstitutional. Instead, we're going to kick it down the road, so far down the road that the president's obviously going to be dead. Instead of things like, affecting the country, missiles going off in Poland, North Korea, Ukraine still ain't solved. Instead of all those things and dots being connected there, investigations and looking into and, formulating in your own mind what's happening, reading some facts and news, we have people who are regular folks, and we also have people who are elected officials in the United States government, like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who are connecting dots, who are calling for investigations into things like being unable to purchase Taylor Swift tickets. What the fuck is going on? Why are we not only poor detectives, we're detectives looking at the dumbest things that are clearly not even crimes, they're common sense. If you haven't heard, if you're one of the idiots who lives under a rock and doesn't care about Taylor Swift, I guess, this is insane, literally Ocasio-Cortez, an elected official, has called for the investigation into Ticketmaster, a company that sells tickets to concerts. Now, Taylor Swift, if you don't know, is a recording artist who makes music and performs at concerts. She is a popular one at that. She hasn't been on tour in several years. She has a lot of fans. In fact, her numbers support the idea that she is the most popular recording artist of the last 50 fucking years. Now, she is announcing a tour for the first time in years, and tickets are in high demand. They are in such high demand that people are unable to get them, because that's what happens when something is hard to get. Now, Taylor Swift tickets are so hard to get that people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez have tweeted that there should be an investigation, and now the SEC and the DOJ are looking into Ticketmaster as a company for charges of fraud or something, I guess, because it's so goddamn hard to buy Taylor Swift tickets. What the hell is going on? That is not a mystery at all. That is not a crime. AOC, you just weren't one of the people who got a ticket to the show you wanted to go to. You don't need to get the federal authorities involved in an investigation. What is the investigation into Ticketmaster going to prove? You silly dumb fuck. Taylor Swift is popular. That's case closed. Book 'em, Dano. That's what you're going to find in your investigation. How is it Ticketmaster's fault that it is incredibly hard to buy a Taylor Swift ticket? You simple, dumb asshole. How did you get elected, let alone learn to read and speak? You are wasting This is a Jussie Smollett level waste of authority and resources. How the fuck I feel bad? How is there a situation where I am made to feel bad for Ticketmaster as a company who's now being investigated by the federal authorities just because Taylor Swift is popular? Holy shit. That's an investigation? That's something we need to connect the dots to? And if you think I'm being, if I'm exaggerating, AOC is elected in the U.S. government. Oh shit, this is not good. And because it's not good, because we have people looking under rocks and being surprised there is sand, tweeting about and subsequently getting federal authorities involved to investigate the fact Taylor Swift has a lot of fans. If we have people who we elected doing that, what are the odds we're going to be able to catch the real bad guys who are really good at stealing your money? Not good, not high, I would imagine. Pay the fuck attention. What else can I say? You have to pay attention because there will be a bad guy. There will always be a cohesive effort that is not good for you trying to fuck with you. That's just what it is. So be cunning, be discerning in what dots you connect. I'm crazy, don't listen to me, but again, I'm right. Connect some dots when you hear about a crypto platform losing $2 billion with association to a bad guy, frantically scrubbing the internet of any proof of that, but it still exists. Connect those dots when then you see central banks proposing their own version of a digital dollar. Hey, you just lost all your money at crypto? Go back to the regular dollar that's fake but controls you, and now we have a digital version. Connect those dots. Don't connect dots like Ticketmaster is not defrauding millions of people because it's hard to buy a Taylor Swift ticket, you simpleton. Be suspicious when they move the World Cup to Thanksgiving and play in the Middle East just so there's more for you to argue about at Thanksgiving. Be aware of that. Keep them eyes open. Assess threats. Connect the right dots. Keep them eyes open. Skeet so much they call up Billy Ocean. Happy Thanksgiving.